Yeah, morning, guys. Well, it's about 2:23 in the morning. It's still Monday, February 8th, 2021. I'll tell you, a lot of things have been weighing heavily on my mind, and it usually takes a reminder or two of just how screwed up I certainly am on the inside. I wasn't able to get into the spirit of the things when it comes down for football last night. I suppose millions of Americans watched the Super Bowl wherever they could, in whatever kind of condition they were able to. And the thing of it is, in dealing with a sports venue, I suppose the mass consumption of food and alcohol and everything else makes things, football or sports related. I couldn't. And I'll tell you why. I know, you'll change the channel on this one and go somewhere else. Fine, be that way. Grief. A long while ago, I may have made recordings concerning about this. Even last year I did. Concerning about how hard grief hits. And this is an anniversary month of my mother's passing. I know, people are going to say, boo-hoo, boo-hoo. Get on with it. Get over it. The problem is you never get over grief. You never get over the loss. A lot of people have compacted it. I suppose I have. For far too long, I've had the grief compartmentalized. Well, theoretically, I'm dealing with it my own damn way, and the problem is I can't deal with it any longer sometimes. A long while ago, I was broken because my brother passed away, and it unleashed a lot of emotions and broke a lot of controls I had. Whatever walls I put up, it was already torn apart. I was reminding myself of a certain movie I used to like to watching since the late 80s. It's called Steel Magnolias. It was a feel-good drama with several fine actresses in there. And actors, male actors. There used to be a time where you can call the females actresses and the males actors, and then everything turned PC, where everybody, male and female, turned actors. But the actresses faded away. Well, still use the actresses anyway, for memorial and memories and everything else for that one. Sally Fields, Olivia Dukakis, Shirley MacLaine, Daryl Hannah, Julia Roberts. Five strong women. Dolly Parton. Several strong women in this movie, dealing with life cycles. Starts off with a marriage of Sally Field's daughter. And she's diabetic. And how relationships are changed, formed, strengthened, how their lives are throughout a year or two. Seasons they go through. And it was showing how the women were being. I mean, it was called Steel Magnolias. How these women had to be tough in certain circumstances. Well, during this time, the character that Julia Roberts was portraying wanted to have a baby. She even have a baby because at the time it was said that you're diabetic and you're type 1. There's no way because it's going to be putting a hell of a strain on your system. So the advice, don't do it. But she wanted to have one anyway. And in the course of the movie, she did have one, her character. But it costed her health and her life. And they were showing how the women were dealing with the pressures, the stress, and relationship issues, and then dealing with the death of the character for Julia Roberts. And it was showing how strong the women were trying to be. And then Sally Fields tries to put the emotional sledgehammer into it by breaking down and yelling her head off at her friends that she grew close to and very much attached. But they never did show about the male side, how the males had to deal with grief and coping with loss, especially the loss of a daughter. Tom Skerritt played the father. Hell of an actor. Hell of an actor over the years. I've seen this guy start up from the movie Alien. Get killed in the movie Alien. But other shows he had, television series in the late 80s, early 90s. And then the movies he did. Tried to show, the male bravado. But somewhere in there, the sensitive side of being human. But in this movie, he was like there to deliver a few comedic lines, and that's about it. But as for the struggle of a father dealing with the loss of a daughter, or even how the boys might have been dealing with it. The boys just lost their elder sister, their sibling. How did the grief tear them apart? But the movie was focusing basically on the 5 adult women. How they had to show life goes on. And then they're laughing their asses off at the end of the movie. And I couldn't see this movie past my mother's death. When my mother passed away in 2013, I think I said enough of the movie, enough of it. I'm not going to see it ever again because I can't deal with it. And then after my brother passed away in 2018, it became more cemented. Because then I'm doing a critical analysis of the movie inside my head regarding the thing, and I'm thinking, Steel Magnolias was supposed to be focusing on the 5 strong adult women, but not about the family that had to deal with the loss as well. Not the husband who just lost a daughter, tearing his ass apart left and right. You don't see him screaming and yelling in pain or even getting drunk. And the boys, how the hell are they dealing with it? It's a hell of a thing for me to talk about this early in the morning. But on some occasions I had thought about it. And they should have said Steel family. The Steel Magnolias, they're considering the Magnolias as the women. And they had to be strong. Show camaraderie, family of sorts. And I really couldn't get into the film even further because it's not because I'm going to say the C word chauvinistic, but where's the rest of the grief and pain that the guys are going through? Don't these guys emote? I can see the sour and dour in her, and they're dealing with the grief at the end. But no, I don't see these kids acting out or killing each other or whatever they need to do to get the damn grief and pain out. Everything's so compartmentalized, and I couldn't deal with that. I mean, a long time ago, I had to compartmentalize the damn thing, the grief, and then you have the memorial service and get over with it. So I really had a problem with that movie. Even though I liked it back in the 80s and 90s and 2000s, up until the time Ma died, and then David died, and it just became into the pile I'd rather not see anymore because I'd seen too much of it, and it had too much grief and pain I'm still working through that the movie doesn't cover. And here's another show I watch, sci-fi series Babylon 5, also been out since the 90s, been repeated. People had collected them on VHS. I had. Until I didn't get the DVDs and Blu-rays. And a decade or two later, I've got the Blu-rays and I'm watching them. I'm watching the DVDs, actually, series regarding it. I don't care about the damn video quality of the thing. I mean, that's how they had broadcasting. That's what I watched it as original. There was one episode dealing with one of the main characters, Claudia Christian played her, Susan Ivanova. Lost her father. There was a lot of backstory in this one. The one particular story that she's dealing with is seeing her father died in front of her. And the father's trying to make amends and trying to apologize to her. It's tearing her apart. She's trying to convey that she's being torn apart left and right. And she also had to be stoic about it because she also blamed her father for not being there one way or another. And as the show series progressed in the first season, as this damn thing took place and started out, showing her grief and pain at times, but she had to be strong because of the job she had. Executive officer on a station that had everything else going hell in a handbasket. So she had to focus on the military career like crazy, the character. And in the time that Theodore Beckel comes on there, plays a well-beloved rabbi. He was going to help her do Shiva. Shiva is similar to the Christian way of mourning and of memorializing and remembering the dead. And she hadn't allowed herself to open up. Now, I hadn't said a memorial service for Ma or Dave either. When Ma passed away, Dave and I agreed to each other we'd do a living memorial for her. We'd live our lives the best we could and memorialize her in any way, shape, or form. And we keep remembering her and keeping her in our thoughts and stuff. But we couldn't do the memorial services because it hurt us too damn badly. We had lost a favorite cousin of ours who was near and dear to Ma and us. And she was like a sister to Dave. And she had gone through a lot. She had her own family to deal with, and her family saw this cousin, struggle through drug and alcohol addiction to the point where it almost damn near killed her. Actually, I think it did kill her one way. Ma wanted to take care of her so damn badly. And we couldn't because me and Dave were taking care of Ma, and there was no way in hell we could have. We simply didn't see the logistics of how we could have done it. We kept tabs. It was about one or 2 weeks that when the mother was in the hospital or needed help at home, my brother went out to help. I'm stuck doing everything else, but that's about it at home. But it finally broke my mama's heart that she saw all of her family and the siblings die off, one by one, tore her apart. And then her favorite niece. And her decline downhill was well underway. And dealing with memorial and memories like this is hard enough as it is, because we always have to shove everything else down below, down deep inside our guts and our memories that we couldn't allow them to come up to surface and really create havoc for us. When Lon passed away, my brother and I went over to support meetings, and I almost felt like I was going to destroy the place because of my own damn anger, my grief, my pain, the loss of my mother. And I was told a long time ago to expect this. It doesn't matter if you're told about it or not, you still have to go through the damn thing. What's even worse is years later, a few years later, I had to deal with the same thing with my brother. I was caregiver to both, which means you get intimate, you get tight, and you get tighter and tighter and tighter until you lose them. And then it's your whole world, your whole perspective changes instantly. And the pain and grief become the constant companions. What you thought you walled up pops out at the most inopportune times. Seeing my mother gone, lying in a bed with tubes on her, was one of the most hardest damn things, hardest memories I've had. But the most equally painful is seeing her enjoy grapefruit, or actually pomelo. Or seeing her smile when I had a Santa cap on her and took a picture of her just for posterity. The hardest damn thing is to see her smile. So I'm watching the show of Babylon 5, and I'm seeing the Shiva situation. One of the plots they had was Shiva, and then there's another plot of a warrior comes from Earth to fight an alien Kumatai, sort of. They call it the Mutai. And the cutting of the editing of this thing, the emotions concerning about this guy fighting for his life, and then you seeing someone celebrating the loss of life, is really conflicting as hell. And I had to fast forward past the fighting scenes, because in dealing with memorials was the hardest damn thing for me to deal with. I'm hearing how memories and things were shared, and seeing her break down, Susan Ivanova break down, I had to stop it right there, and I almost damn near threw up. I couldn't deal with it. I couldn't cope. I couldn't deal with it. I couldn't. The emotions were too damn raw. I had seen other shows, other television shows, since the passage of my brother that dealt with family, the loss of family, or family threatening, or families coming together and smiling and laughing. And I'm crying my eyeballs out because I miss my own family a great deal. And I'm going through the emotional wreck again. One of the things that people had to celebrate today was, actually yesterday, was a battling of two teams trying to kill each other on the gridiron to get the coveted title of Super Bowl champion. I lost the interest in football a long time ago when I lost my brother. So no longer holds that much of a deep fascination at this point. And also because when I'm dealing with the grief of this month, the anniversary. Last several years I was able to go over to a shrink's office and talk to him about it, but these days it's kind of impossible. Even if I happen to talk to him on a virtual, it just doesn't work. I have to keep doing audio recordings to get things off my chest, and even video if I have to, because this hurts like hell. I've dealt with a lot of support groups online regarding grief. It just, it doesn't help me much. I still have to walk the path alone. Other people say, you don't have to. I said, yes, you do. Because you have to. There's no other choices written in the laws of nature or somewhere in the cosmos. You may have support and family and friends around you, but you still have to walk through the pain alone. I don't have that option. I don't have the luxury of having people surrounding me all the time trying to help me through the grief and the struggles. Every single morning I wake up and I'm reminded. At one time I woke up being reminded of the loss of my mother and my brother when I had charms around my neck. And there were constant, I use this phrase, albatrosses around my neck. Samuel Coleridge wrote the story, Rime of the Ancient Mariner, considering about a mistake he'd made as a seaman, as a captain on board a ship, imperiled his crew and practically killed his crew in the process. And a redemption of sorts for just killing a bird. He had to go through a lot of hell and grief, and he comes home the most distraught, broken man ever, and has to live his rest of his life telling a tale to those that he catches the attention of and draws them into his world of what he's been through and how he's got to atone for it every single time in many lands and many places. Basically, a redemption story that Coleridge wrote back in the 1800s. But the thing is, I felt like that mariner, and I didn't even realize what albatrosses I killed in order to keep wearing the dead spirits around my neck. I no longer do that during the rest of the ashes, but still. A constant reminder of my family's past. They're gone. I can't move on. I'm trying like crazy. Every single day, it's a hard day. Some days are better than others, but especially when I'm constantly reminded by situations and events and people that they bring out the heartache, they bring out the pain, they bring out the compression of the chest. I'm breathing less and being squeezed more and more. And at times I'm heaving my damn life out of me every time I keep crying and then mauling my head off and waiting for the heart to burst. I'm waiting for the blood vessels to burst inside of my chambers. I'm waiting for the feeling of release at that point. Maybe the agony of the moment, where I can no longer stand the physical and spiritual pain of loss, and then maybe the pop. And then I can see my sweet family's face one more time. Maybe for all eternity. Until then, I have to live life as it is. There's going to be a lot of things that are still going to be triggering me left and right. There's going to be movies I'll be remembering. I'll be remembering different things that'll force me to deal with the concept of death. Life isn't permanent. Life is temporary. Life is instantaneously, and then poof, it's gone. By the time it's instantaneously, you have to appreciate every single moment, every single second of it. Because after that, there's nothing left. There had been a movie out there called SOB. They call it Standard Operating Business or something like that, but some people call it Standard Operational Bullshit or same old bullshit. A comedy back in the 70s about a film producer who made a flop and then wanted to kill himself, and then discovered through one wild night at his home, in his most depressed state, he gets inspiration and he channels everything into it. Every energy and every resources to get this movie he did as a flop reshot, reformatted, and everything. And how the people around him, the industry, the family, and the friends reacting the way this guy is going crazy, James Mulligan. Mulligan was a comedian for a long period of time. He did a few shows in the sitcoms back in the late 80s and early 90s. Empty Nest was one of them. And he played a real wild producer, showing his mania and manic. And at the end, the producer dies, but his three closest friends do a Viking funeral for him, while Hollywood mourns the loss of a producer that made a blockbuster hit. The friends are trying to figure a way how to mourn his loss. They talk about a candle in the flame. This is but it does burn brightly, doesn't it? Or something like that to that effect. It's like our lives as we live them. One shining moment in our lifetimes, we are the most exploding thing out there. And then we fade away. And we fade away into memory. Still doesn't take away the pain, still doesn't take away the loss. I hadn't seen anything that dealt with at least not recently or in my past, of how a male was supposed to be dealing with the grief except drinking his ass off like crazy just to kill the pain. And I've seen too many people in real life doing that. They'll pick one particular thing just to kill the pain. It's like an emotion. It's like a black hole you can't fill at any point. It compresses, it squeezes, it sucks the life out of anything and everything around you, any enjoyment, any happiness, and shoves it into a damn hole of infinity there. And it doesn't matter what you do, because it's not enough. You feel like you're going to get sucked into it. No way out of it. Even to the point where you feel like you just want to kill yourself. And I had felt that. There have been too many times I felt like killing myself over this. I lost my wife. I didn't know how to handle it, and then I had my brother around, David. Without his help, there was no way in hell I would have been able to deal with this. There was no way in hell. We had to find different areas outside our own grief of trying to do things to fill the time, to fill memories, to fill space. And for me, it didn't exactly work too well. I still felt it, but I still had to shove things down. What even got it even more painful is when I've seen at other memorials that people had done musical videos. They had taken slideshows of their lost one, friend, colleague, family member. And they put favorite music of theirs on there. It had taken me months just to do this for Mama, to get the courage and nerve to do this thing after I got the idea. So I fired up the old computer, got the program necessary running, and then tried to find the music appropriate for, and there was a few of them that I can't listen to ever again. A few of them anyway. Much like my brother as well. Much like the feelings of my brother as well, in certain films and movies and musical themes I can't listen to ever again because it hurts too damn badly. I couldn't deal with a memorial service for my brother, so I had to do a musical video. I had to post that on the internet as well, along with Moz. My own way, my own contribution to both of them. I really haven't said goodbye. At least not in this life. At least not in this world. Not for a long while. When I lost my brother, I had just started. I was about 51, 52 years old. I already lived half my life with my family. So, that deep of trauma, that deep of pain, that deep of agony is something I can't ever get past. I can't see straight sometimes. Besides poor eyesight. But I can't see past the damn pain. There are certain things outside I won't do or refuse to do because I know the landmines are still out there, the trigger effects that put me into an emotional baggage, emotional headlock, if you will. A bus route to a senior center, which is the last stop on it, that would take us to a different location, or other locations my brother and I would go to, or my family would go to in the Antelope Valley of California. Lancaster and Palmdale, we lived the last of their lifetimes here before they both passed away. And in the time period spent here since 2006, 2005 actually, 2005, we had been to a lot of places in the Antelope Valley. Restaurants, stores, shops Mom would go to for her nails. Dave and I would go to other places as well. Meeting halls. Places I won't step foot into ever again. Because I haven't allowed myself to let go. I'm still holding on to it with dear life. It seems like the only things I've got is to hold on to those damn feelings and memories. And it hurts like hell. Try telling this to a shrink when you only have about 30 minutes. It's a lot longer than that. Especially the amount of feelings I have. I can hear the clinical terminologies being used, the different stages of grief. It goes in one ear out the other ear. Unless you've already been through the damn thing, you just don't know. You just don't know the agony and pain. You don't know what it does to you, how much it tears you apart, no matter how much of education you've got, no matter how many degrees or letters you've gotten. It doesn't matter. Unless you've gone through it yourself or going through it currently. You have no idea. Some people could just compartmentalize it for the rest of your lives, I guess. I never could. I had to, though, growing up as a kid and as a young adult because I had to function. I had to be Johnny on the spot. I had to be an image. I had to be something else. Not a human brain that breaks down every time there's an emotional situation happening that tears me apart left and right inside. These days I could be watching a television show, seeing something on the news, and something triggers me, and automatically I know I feel it. I feel the damn thing hitting, and I can't seem to control it. Gatorade in the middle of the morning, middle of the night actually. I couldn't function. The bus trip I talked to you about. There's a bus from Kern. It goes from Kern all the way to Lancaster. Actually, a couple of them anyway. Part of a county-wide transportation system. They've got expressways. Two of them go through Roseman and end up in Lancaster. Both at a senior center. They end up in. Dump off the people so they can catch the local transportation there. It's like a hub of sorts, and they can go wherever they want. Me and my brother had taken it all the time since losing our car a long time ago. And we had to make do with what we had and go places on the bus. There was one time I was going to be shopping just to see this bookstore by myself. This was like months after my brother passed away. And I'm passing by the area. I'm going through the area. I hit this one senior center where the last stop is. And the memories are just kicking in left and right. Keep this in mind. I'm also an Antelope Valley College student, Lancaster, California. I've been going there a few years, so the bus route and the bus stop is nothing new to me. It shouldn't have been in the first place. I need some paper for the nose. And it was hard as hell to deal with this. Because I'm seeing the senior center with a ghost of my brother haunting the area left and right. It was scaring the living crap out of me. Memories do that from time to time. My brother would smoke a cigarette. Constant smoker since his pre-teens. Never been able to stop or quit. Wasn't what killed him. It was his diabetes that killed his ass. Too much of a Coke drinker. Coca-Cola. Never could stand Pepsi. Too flat for him. Both of us were raised up on Coca-Cola. There's something about the liquid that makes us enjoy the stuff more. Instead of drinking a flat soda, we have the carbonation, the effect, and the taste of it. Hell of a lot better than a flat Pepsi any day. The story is about the places we've been to in the San Fernando Valley, and we drank nothing but Coke, or I'd switch over to tea and Sprite afterwards, but still I enjoy Coke every once in a great while for him. Or I drank a Sprite for him as well. He drank his Coke up until the day he died, and smoked. Hard to stay on that one. The senior center would have the ghost of him walking up and down, or just sitting there and enjoying a smoke with somebody else. I'd get on the local bus and start getting through an area. One particular place I worked at for quite a few years. Got injured on a job, had a hell of a lot of resentment towards these people, and the company still do. So dealing with that emotional baggage was causing a lot of grief and a lot of agony in me. Not to mention getting the PTSDs concerning about having a tire fall on your damn face. Long story on that one. I did a few videos about that one a long time ago. Anyway, going past the area that I used to work in, it's a long straight shot all the way towards this mall area. And Dave and I did taxes over there one time with somebody else. I just still need to do that myself. But the Antelope Valley Mall was at the area too. Dave and I would shop there and enjoy the area as much as we could while we could afford it and have her nails done. Dave and I also celebrated New Year's a couple of times over there. Did some holiday shopping. So in Rancho Vista and 10th Street West in Palmdale, California, you can look it on the Google Maps. Antelope Valley Mall is the only mall they had out there that's almost equivalent to some of the malls we've had in the San Fernando Valley that we used to partake in. Not exactly the greatest, but it's still there anyway. And there was a bookstore of Barnes & Noble in the area, close to Technology Drive. Dave and I have been in there maybe a couple of times to buy books, but also to rest up from our journeys. And then the last time we were over there was dealing with a situation of mine, and we had stopped at Barnes & Noble for a rest before we continued on. We also did a little window shopping. So going into that place was already setting up myself already for the emotional kickback. I was already feeling it. I had a situation at another department store nearby that was really going out of my mind with PTSD. And I had to run out of the damn store. I'm surprised security or anybody else didn't help me out. Not even 911. Brain dead fools. So going to the bookstore, I thought it would be helpful, but it wasn't. Coming home was hard enough because I had to breathe, I had to decompress, I had to find ways on how to get myself wound down. I was stressing out to the point I was probably needing a Xanax or a straitjacket at that point, but to be exaggerating. But it wasn't an easy thing for me to go through emotionally. It was still an emotional roller coaster at the time. And it drove me nuts. It drove me nuts. I couldn't go back to that place ever again, I told myself. Not even in the area. The irony thing about it is, the ironic thing about it is, going over to the college from here in Roseman, I'd have to take the same damn express bus, but then take another bus just to get over to the place. Or just take the express bus I'm taking from Roseman all the way over to the college doorstep and staying there and take care of my educational needs and come right back. I'm starting my 6th year. 2 classes at a time, not bad for an old fart. But it was still an emotional wreck. If I had gone to different places, I would have been an emotional wreck. And the places my brother and I would be visiting to take care of ourselves. Or to explore other areas of the Antelope Valley. And I hadn't been back over there since. To the college, because of the COVID-19, we have to do online classes, so I missed the campus itself. The campus I've been there so many damn times, it is like second home to me, so it's comfortable. It's home. Despite the renovations they're going through right now as it is, I felt the need to use it as a place of refuge, of an ollie oxygen free, that I could relax and be myself. But any other place, forget it. Any other place, I'd be emotionally torn apart. And I really didn't want that to happen to myself. Still don't. Talking about it still brings up the memories and the feelings and the stress that I feel in here, the pressure in my heart, and the amount of grief I felt. I don't feel the need to cry right now. I feel like I am getting compressed. Because in talking about this stuff, it's not getting it off my chest. It's not like putting another elephant on top of my chest. I don't think it's heart attack either. It's just stress. It's the stress of the memories that I had to live with and deal with and survive through. So in talking about this stuff and getting it off my chest, it's a long-winded video, and I'm not apologizing for it. I had to get this off. I had to tell myself or anybody else going through this is supposedly normal. We're told that by psychologists, psychiatrists, and psychologists, and every other damn head shrinker out there. Time is the only thing that can solve this damn thing, because there's no pill, there's no liquid out there to solve this damn shit. You simply have to grieve. You simply have to go through it. I've been doing it without support. There's one thing going on online, social media. You think that solves it, but alone in the middle of the night, no. Where people are sleeping right now, and I should be sleeping, I'm doing this because I needed to get this off my chest. Because if I didn't, I'd be driving myself crazy. I have class to take care of today, several hours. But this had to take priority because this feeling, this recording had to be done. And I don't blame my mother or my brother for passing on. The hardest damn thing for me to do is admit to the anger of blaming God for everything on this one. And accepting. It's the hardest damn thing to do is accept it. And move on. I haven't quite put myself through that pace yet. On that level. Why, God, you do this? I don't know. Such things are beyond. I know it was Ma's time. She worn herself out like crazy. When she died, she was in her mid to late 70s. She lived a long life. She had 2 good sons. Well, she pain in the ass ones, actually. But she wanted grandkids, and we never got her. Never had the relationships to start off with that one. She never had a chance to bounce kids or knee. So that way, I think she felt like a failure a little bit because we failed her regarding relationships. Long story, and I'll have to do another video on that. But Dave tried, and he couldn't. Things just didn't work out for us both. For us having relationships or with other women, that is. One kind of turned out to be a siphon. Constant siphon. Drained spirit and not to mention money out of them. And me too. So I'm staying the hell away from her. Long story, and I know there's other videos I made about that one as well. But I have to tell the tale. This is my ancient mariner tale. This is my way of getting this stuff off the damn chest. And yes, people usually don't do this while they're on recording, so It's just not done. On an audio recording, I'm blasting up people's eardrums, but on this one, I didn't. I chose not to. Simply put, I had to get the nose cleared. I cried. Not during the break, though, but I cried a long time ago. And will continue to. But I had to get this off my chest. I had to tell people what was going on. I had to get this explained. I had to let people know what it is to feel, and it's all right. It's all right to go through this. It's all right to feel the agony. It's all right to feel the pain, to feel the loss, to blame yourself if you need to. But the thing of it is, you really can't unless you've already been the cause of the damn death in the first place. But if you're not, well, it's also, I think, natural for us to blame God because God's never telling humanity what His plans are for us. We believe in God, and I do. Supreme Creator, or whatever kind of name you put Him or it to. I prefer Him or her. And it's hard to understand things going on beyond. Some things just happen. We have to deal, we have to cope, we have to go through this damn thing. We have to go through the emotional roller coasters. We have to go through the emotions. We have to go through the memories. And a lot of those memories are painful as hell. And other memories are pleasant as hell. We can try laughing, we can try crying about those damn things, and other things will tear us apart. Yes, I am. You're seeing it right on camera. Yeah, I'm scratching. Only because I itch. Reality check. This is reality. Deal with it. I have to. I have to deal with it on a constant basis, getting up early in the morning or sometimes not. I take 2 or 3 hour naps during the daytime, at least 2 or 3 of them. Screws up my entire evening's sleep cycle. So I'm not exactly sleepy right now as it is. Give me one quick second. Now you see it, now you don't. Had to get it off. It's getting sweaty in there. Reality check. Things we have to go through. And this is a long-ass video, I know it, but, some things are needed to get the stuff off the chest. And even if I happen to pass away, just like right now, I have to get this shit off my chest of what's going on, how I felt, what was going on. So maybe people down the road, if they go through the flash drives, they can see the history of what I lived and how I lived and how I explained things and everything else, including how I'm dealing with the coping loss of my family. The images that you see behind me, that's my family. I mean, one on the top is Ma with the dog, a little girl. She's still alive, thank God. It's the only member of the family still alive for me. And the others, the big brother down below, the other woman, still the same one. Her real name was Ellen Ray Shaw. My brother was David Ware Shaw. Everybody called her Marianne growing up. Because she had a Marianne personality, she was told by a well-loved sibling and a well-loved uncle of mine. Anyway, the only happy time back in 2002 is when we went over to a fair back in September. And we were over at the LA County Fair taking that family portrait. It's a black and white picture, but I got the color ones from around here. But I also have a digital format of it anyway, so I'm not stressing over it. But I just wanted to show you who I'm talking about and why they mean so much. My brother and I have been through a hell of a lot, 8-year difference. He's the older. He was called the nut job in the family. I was called the one with the bad ticker. Family and joke. Long stories on those and other videos talk about that. well, I had to get this off my chest anyway. It's about time for me to crawl back in the sack in about another hour, hour and a half if I'm lucky, and then try to function the rest of the day. And try to deal with life on its own terms. Hard as hell. But I have to live with this. I have to cope with this. I have to move on and tell my story. I am the ancient mariner. I may not have sailed the seas physically, but I had my own oceans to cross. And I have my own lands, so to speak, to travel and traverse and talk to people about what's going on, to let them know they're not alone. Maybe this will help. Maybe this will not. I don't know. But if you listen and you understand anything of what I've said, cool. If it helps you out in life, even better. If it pisses you off and it touched a nerve, good. If it did any kind of emotional impact on you, good. If you're just watching it and you're stoned as hell, then on you. Because covering yourself up with alcohol or drugs or anything else to dull and numb the pain ain't being human, it's being a coward. And I'd rather go through the damn pain. I'd rather face it. I'd rather go through the agony of the damn thing. I'm waiting for the time when the heart's going to say, fuck it, and then kill me. I'm not looking forward to that time either, but that's reality check. Is when there's going to be a burst blood vessel in here, and I can't have any way of getting repaired, and I'm just waiting for the Grim Reaper. But until then, I don't think they would want me to continue that lifestyle. They want me to continue to live, to do something else in my life. So I'm going to have to move on. I still carry the pain and grief and anguish and PTSD and everything else inside of me. I will forever do that until it's my time to pass on, and then I'll hopefully join my family. God be willing. Until that time, guys, please be easy on yourself. If you're going through the same damn shit, talk to people about it if you have to. Talk to me if you need to. Put comments in the damn thing if you need to. Somewhere in the about, there's also an email address. I'm on Facebook. You can find me out there. Talk to people. Get it off your chest. You're not alone. You're not alone. River John Seal, Rosamunde, California. That's Roseman, California to you. Have a good morning and good night or whatever the hell it is right now. I can't even see where shit without my damn glasses on. Fuck. 3:21 in the morning. Wowzers. I'm killing myself. I gotta get more flash drives with this damn thing, I swear to God.